Time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace, former Ottawa Senator Jason York, and Graham Nichols.
Happy Thursday morning, everybody. Brent Wallace, Jason York, and Graham Nichols. Apparently, it looks like Yorkie has been hanging out with the Finnish national women's team as he is sick too.
Crazy, eh? They cancel the game? They're postponing it one day. Every single person on the team is sick.
Yeah, I hope you don't have the Finnish norovirus there, Yorkie.
You know what it is?
Ebola.
Think about when you fly on a plane, how close you are to somebody. Like you got that guy in the middle seat who you're battling. The worst thing is when you're sitting, you got a nice outside seat, Wally, and a guy that's like 6'4" comes and cruises in. I'm like, and I thought, what are you doing getting a middle seat? Like, come on.
Well, sometimes they just wait or don't want to pay, right? And then you just get assigned your seat. The worst is you're almost about to take off, and that last person shows up, and it's the seat next to you. You're like, oh, man, it's going to be great. And then, boom, they sit down. And they usually have about 19 bags and a coffee. What
are the rules of elbows on the plane? Like your elbows.
The middle guy gets the armrest.
Both?
Yeah.
So he gets to get the middle seat and put both elbows into the two people's seats that got the good seat.
It's no okay. Mike Futa is joining us, and I don't want to waste his time about middle seat discussions. But listen, yes, you know what? We'll ask Mike in a second.
That makes no sense.
It's totally true. This show brought to you by Bet365. Gentlemen, if you're good today, I do have something to show you at the end of the show.
If we're good,
a little yeah. If you behave yourselves today, do have a little fun moment maybe for you guys in the show.
If you're good, Graham. If you're good, you could get some dessert.
Not a ton of incentive. Just saying, not a ton of incentive. I feel like you're going to play it regardless. We'll see what happens.
All right, we'll bring him right in because he's got stuff. He's a busy man. Mike Futa, former NHL assistant general manager, now host on Sportsnet. How are you? Good morning, sir.
Good chat, gentlemen. That's the way we're going with incentives. If you're good, what are the guys like 3 years old?
Listen,
exactly.
That's exactly how this show works, Mike. 100%.
If you're good.
You guys made a great point. I know you want to talk about hockey, but I literally, it's the same thing in a seat. I was sitting there at the other day that when the blizzard was at the Leaf game, because there was a lot of empty seats against Colorado in the section, and the two seats next to me were open, and somebody came and sat in the seat next to me that could have used all three seats, and it was quite uncomfortable.
See?
Listen, I've been the middle seat guy because when you're flying with a family of four and the kids want to sit at the windows or whatever, you got to take the middle seat if it's the three. And I feel I am owed the armrest. Yeah,
that's okay with kids. That's okay with kids because kids they're not 250 pounds and taking up the entire seat.
Right? Bad. Depends on the length of the flight's a killer too. If you're going to Europe, that'd be problematic.
Oh yeah,
it was Europe as a matter of fact. So, all right, let's we'll move on. I wanted to ask you quickly because deadline is coming, and Ottawa now sits 8 points out as they play game 57 tonight. When do you, and the deadline's March 6th, so it's coming, and we're already into the freeze right now. When, as a organization, do you guys sit in that meeting and make a decision? Like, are they too far out at this point? What are you thinking as they have meetings right now?
It depends per organization what your expectations were, what your UFA situation is. I mean, when you're looking at Ottawa's situation and some of the players that like the Giroux of the world, you're thinking, if you roll it back, everybody's a year older. I think out of all the teams, they're probably the way they were playing. The last thing you need is a break is Ottawa. I mean, I felt they should have got a point, at least in Carolina. They've been playing exceptional hockey. Obviously coincides with the goaltending situation starting to shore itself up. But I don't know. It's strange because you look at certain teams with the same amount of points out and you're like, oh my God, they've got to sell. Right. And then you look at Ottawa and you're like, can they do this? Like, I think about all the teams in the East that I look at and have confidence that they could get on a roll if the goaltending sustains itself, which there's really no sign that it shouldn't. It's a tough decision to make. And I think when you watch them play their A game, it probably frustrates them even more when they're healthy, because they're right up there with everybody else as far as the teams that I've seen, at least. When they roll and they play to their physical element and they crash the net and they get good goaltending, they're as good as anybody I've seen, particularly in the East. So different decision for everybody. I mean, you got teams like Los Angeles on the outside looking in, acquiring Panarin. So it's like everybody, I guess there's job security involved in certain decisions where they're at. That's not the case in Ottawa, nor should it be. But yeah, it's a tough one when you look at where you're at. And I think it's going to be, I know it sounds really probably not as in depth as you want, but I was really surprised the last time I was there, the last time Ottawa came into Toronto. And I really thought Ottawa was going to make a statement, and they threw out a dud, right? Yeah. So you're going to be coming off that break, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Leafs go Florida. I know the Leafs because I've got the schedule. I had the schedule in front of me last night. I think the Leafs go like Florida, Tampa. Then they've got Ottawa on a Saturday night, and I would want to see what this. I'd have two plans entailed. If there are some UFAs that you think that you can make some hay on, and then you got to see how they come out of the gate. If they come out of the gate playing the same kind of hockey, and this is Ottawa I'm talking about, playing the same type of hockey that they did going into the break, and they have some early success, and it's one game, but if they come into Toronto, that game that kind of is in the same boat and come out victorious, and victorious now, unfortunately, doesn't mean you share points with these guys. You got to start winning in regulation because these points are so critical that you kind of like. Even last night, it was like Florida, right? It's such a critical game, and Boston starts to pour it, and Florida ends up winning, but they still give Boston a point. And with the way these standings look, those points that you're kind of just tossing away in the latter minutes are so critical, more critical than probably in the past.
It's wild. So that's the argument. Sorry, is the one thing is Ottawa. I think we can all agree is a playoff team if they just had goaltending.
Yeah, 100%. And you can't. I mean, you've got to, again, I just look at it, and this is no knock on, I mean, obviously the mental health stuff is so real that you can't critique it. But so, yeah, you just look at like it's an injury really from the outside, that you're missing a player due to an injury. Yeah. And unfortunately, even when healthy prior to, it was something that was clearly affecting all markets, and nobody was really stepping up in the interim. So it wasn't like they were fortunate enough sometimes, like in the Leaf situation, where somebody's gone down and like a Hildeby's come in and thrown his percentage. In general, they just weren't getting the saves they needed. It's put them in a predicament. It could be one hell of a nice story, certainly giving the way the Ottawa fans treated his return. If he could ever get a run together and lead him to the playoffs, my God, would that be a hell of a story. But I just think, when you've got a team, particularly the steps that were made, that you can't start to dissect it and pick it apart, when really kind of external forces outside of your control have led to the majority of the results. And that's his first time too, Wally, that I've actually looked at, had somebody explain the analytics side of me, because they were like, do you understand how good Ottawa's underlying numbers are?
Yes.
Like, honestly, that to me is like, yeah, you know what? We should have won last night. We had so many more expected goals than they did. Well, you know what? People don't advance in playoffs with an expected goal. It actually has to cross the line. So, yeah, but I mean, when you look at their numbers and the way they played, it's pretty, as you said, they're a playoff team that's not a playoff team. Nobody feels sorry for them, but they're playing so well that it'll be, hopefully they can somehow maintain some momentum when they're not playing, and just come out with the same kind of fire that they're going into the break with.
Mike, with Ottawa, you mentioned the strong analytics. You mentioned this team would be in a playoff position if they had strong goaltending. If you're Steve Staios, how do you use the next 5 games before the trade deadline? Like this team theoretically should be in that position. Reports are widely being spread that if Staios can add and help this team, he will try to. But how would you allocate your time if you're Steve Staios? Because if this team drops 3 of their next 5, like the season's over.
Yeah,
but if they go on this run, like how do you, as a general manager and a front office executive, like you have to, I'm assuming Staios has to let those markets develop for players on his roster, but at the same time, he's also looking to help this team as well. Like how difficult is that to juggle your time?
Well, it's part of the job, and I think Stevie will understand it. The problem is sometimes you have to have uncomfortable conversations that usually are in exit meetings at the end of the season, and you're having them mid-season. When you look at some of your older players, right, they're key players, and I know like guys like Perron, I think Perron's banged up right now, but there's some valuable pieces that other teams would be flocking to. And again, it's almost like the same kind of conversation that Winnipeg would have to have with like a Jonathan Toews. Like, is this something you want? I think players like that have earned that kind of respect, that if they, if we're not going to be in the playoffs and we, there's a great list, like particularly the first 2 for me, and Cousins would be a guy that would have playoff value for certain with teams. All of them have a different level of value, but when you really think of the first 2, they're guys that you'd want to have that conversation. Like, we're going to go down swinging here. If you're going to add, you're certainly not going to add. If you're out that many points, if you're adding, you're going to try and add somebody with term. You're not going to waste assets on a rental. It's not going to be a part of it. But if there's any way you can add somebody with term to kind of put a little external, like an internal boost into your group. But again, it's having those tough conversations with the Drews and Perrons that, there's spots out there that teams are dying to have you, but you want to finish here and make them part of the conversation. But I just think you're gauging those teams. You're just almost like a fan, just praying that you have the same kind of success you had, so you don't have to make those decisions. If you can pull yourself to win 5 or 4 points.
Yeah. The interesting thing for me, Mike, when I look at the standings, and you could say the same thing. I look at Columbus. I just saw Columbus play a couple of weeks ago. They're a big, heavy, tough team to play against. Same with Washington. Like, they're sitting in front of the Sens, and it just doesn't seem like they're going to slow down. There's a team that's probably the least happiest that break has come in the Columbus Blue Jackets. What are they, 9-1 in their last 10 since Bones came in? It's been unbelievable.
9-1, and up until 3 games ago, when they would have been 6-1, they had lost the point in the standings.
Yeah,
because everybody ahead of them was on rip and tears. So, and they too, I believe they win tonight, they could pull within 3. I don't think for 1 second Columbus is in a sell mode. The problem is getting, like, I don't foresee anybody having a problem reporting to Ottawa if there's a chance to win. Columbus doesn't seem to be able to. They always fall victim to the no trade clause, right? That no matter what's out there that could possibly help them, guys don't seem to want to waive to go there. Hopefully they can find some way to bolster their attack too. What a great story Bones is putting together. 9-1, and like most of the games haven't been close either. Like
it's crazy. I was actually in Columbus to do a game. It was Bones' first game. It was against Calgary. He must have went on for about an hour in his press conference. It was unbelievable. He's like, I was on the boat with Judy. The phone came. He's like, you're never going to believe what they want me to do now. It was just.
It was, I guess, the story, because usually those ones you're right. And I mean, that's a true story. Like, I mean, I'm not that he and Don Waddell hadn't had conversations prior to the boat. But that's where it all came down. And we were funny because we had him on because he was working at Sportsnet. We had him on just before that game. And he's the same way. Like, he's trying to figure out guys' names. He goes, half the team doesn't even know who the hell I am. And then they got a lot of Russian players. He couldn't pronounce half the bloody team's name. So he was going to try and get the leadership. So at least they knew who he was and he could tell them who he was. Because as you know, like everybody in hockey, they certainly with our age knows who the hell Rick Bowness is, but certain young players that spend more of their time playing video games in the room, if Rick Bowness isn't in Fortnite, they wouldn't know who the hell he is. So
Bones shows up with his handle Bones. He's coming in for a game of Fortnite.
Only he'd probably learn how to play if it helped him communicate with players better. What a great story that is. But they're pushing too, and I mean, the Leafs go out and beat a couple teams they should beat, and now it's like, whoa, what are we doing here? And because it was 5 points, and then in one sleep they forget the games in hand. Like, the things matter so much right now that in other seasons wouldn't, right? Because you put yourselves, now it's games in hand matter, and giving up that extra point matters so much, because usually by now there's separation, and it's just so, like, thank God I don't gamble, because I got like 4 teams below the cut line that I had as guaranteed playoff. Right.
I know, right? You would think.
I like to hold myself accountable. So, like, most of the guys just hope people didn't watch that show and then change their pick quietly. But I'm sticking by my guns. Like, I look like I look like I just got off a boat, not Bones' boat either. I got Craig Berube winning the friggin' Jack Adams. He's got 9,000 stitches in his forehead, and I got my playoff Senators, and then up against New Jersey in the conference final. One of them's in like 15th place. So I'll just stick to telling stories and stop making predictions for a while, and hope that Ottawa can get it together. Because I do think I always judge teams based on 3 consistent A games in a row when they've been at their best. And what I've seen out of the Ottawa Senators, they've certainly been as good or better than anybody in the East.
So, Mike, looking at Ottawa's situation, goaltending was the issue. Linus Ullmark was going through his mental health stuff. Obviously, with the volatility of the position year to year, stuff can change in a hurry. Guys can play better, whatever. How would you address the Senators' goaltending position moving forward?
It's a great question, and you've got to do it with probably have to do it in a quiet room speaking about it, because you don't want to offend anybody. And I mean that full bore. Like, it's such a serious thing. But when you are making that amount of money to play that position, which is so critical, you almost have to look at it from a stance of how critical the backup position now becomes, of almost having, it used to be like when you have somebody that good, you could have a little bit of a drop off to your next guy, which most teams do when the 1A is making that much money. But you really have to look at that position and say, it's got to be a guy that the drop off we can't be concerned at all if something were to happen and he went into the situation again where he needs time, that we're ready to go to combat it. And it's not like a litany of tryouts. And Reimer's been great, but you know what? You understand what I mean. Like, you're not grabbing your Rolodex for the guy that's still got gear playing in the Spengler Cup to come overseas to help. And then they put in, I think it was Ogard goes in and beats Vegas or something on. All of a sudden, everybody's stopping pucks, and now it's like I was trying to figure out that, and I mean not to be, but I'm like, this guy's still ready to go, and he's on the latch for 2 games. As far as everything, it's funny when you have it. It's almost like an extraordinary goods and graces. That's why this big talk in Leafland about, well, now that Stolar's had a good game, we can trade him and move on to Hildeby. Well, if you really think about the position, plus the fact that it's the same thing, forget it's not a mental illness, but Woll and Stolarz can't stay healthy. So the minute you move on from somebody else, and the other guy who you kind of expect at this point is going to get dinged up, now you're back to 1 goalie and nothing's been solved. So you've almost got to have 3 that you can count on. One of them has to be waiver exempt. And that's tough, but it's part of it, right? It's part of the game now. You've got to look at that, because the goalies are getting dinged up, and the drop off to the next one can't be as drastic as it has been in Ottawa, or at least performance wise. Obviously, these guys are capable, but it seems like everybody got cold at the same time.
Quickly, I just want to point out, Claude Giroux has before people tell me, has a full no move clause. David Prun is a 15 team and Lars Eller a 14 team list. My question to you, Mike, since you would have seen a lot of these lists, how often does Ottawa appear on their do not move me anywhere near that team list?
I don't think it's so much an Ottawa thing. I think it's a Canadian thing. And I'm not, and you'd be surprised. And that's what I said. Like, that's why somebody the other day, I was making a comment about Nazem Kadri, and I misspoke, because I know he's got Buffalo. And I mean, why would you not want, if you're from a hockey perspective, why in the hell would you not want to play there if you're a guy right now with that young crew? But it is what it is when it comes to living conditions. But I misspoke. Mm-hmm. Every kid that took a picture when he was a kid in pajamas doesn't mean that's team he still wants to play for. Okay, it's awesome and stuff like that. But I mean, I know for a fact there's a couple Toronto-born kids that I guarantee there's pictures of them in next crib to Tavares and their Leaf pajamas that have no absolute nothing. Do they want to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs? And that's their choice as an adult, right? The team that kind of unfortunately gets the blanket, the raw is Winnipeg. When you see the majority of the no moves. And the one that really pissed me off was there was a really, I'm not going to give the name, but there was a player that's right from the province, right? That you're thinking, man, that'd be great to go home. That was one of his teams on his no move. So, Ottawa, I don't think is a big factor. I think new facilities moving forward. It's a great city. For the most part, it's a great team. They've clearly got it. I mean, for a while there, Godspeed to Mr. Melnick, but the ownership change has kind of changed drastically. That question has been answered. That there's nobody that would not want to play for Mr. Andlauer and the city of Ottawa. So yeah, it wasn't so much of an issue. American players, I mean, I've joked with Dustin Brown. I'll joke with, he's retired now. It was like he just had a no trade to Canada, and that was his choice. It was just and it wasn't. And you can also sit down because when it's a short period of time. Like you see some of these players, like Jake McCabe in Toronto was one guy that I know for a fact really wanted to just play in American City, and now he signs an extension in Toronto. Once they get there, I think it's amazing. Like you see it a lot in Winnipeg too, particularly with the Minnesota kids. It's really, other than the line in the middle, which is the border, it's the same temperature, it's the same bit, and these guys sign extensions. Once they get there, some of them fall in love with the small town. And Alex Iafallo is a kid that, I mean, this kid used to sleep with his surfboard on the beach, and now he sleeps in his ice hut.
With a bug zapper.
It's amazing once some of these guys, once they knock down that superficial wall and get to a place, they fall in love with it, and their thoughts change on it.
All right, I have two quick questions. I'm already past. I told you I'd get you off.
I'm fine. I'm good.
I know we don't know all the facts about Gavin McKenna, but I'm curious if you're going into the draft as a GM with LA or what, like, is it playing in the back of your mind at all?
Yeah, it's playing right in the front of my mind. He's been charged with a felony.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I'm not yet like, I mean, last night, and I'm very tight with the Spit and Chicklets group, but I was listening to Grinelli and he's like, this guy just got jacked up the scouting list. Now teams know he can fight. You know, he went to
I've seen it a few times.
And I'm like, it's, guys, and I mean, if the story's correct, the way it's being reported, that's a nice, my God, I don't know what I'd do at this stage. I mean, my mom would probably kick the crap out of the guy before but it's also, and you peel it back because you just don't know the truth. The bottom line is he's an incredible young athlete, but if there's something that all of a sudden prohibits him, if the story doesn't come out and make it sound like he's a shining hero against this villainous, when it comes out, if he's charged with a felon and it affects his travel, that's a massive thing, right? And that's the key. So it's like, and that's it in a nutshell. I don't know enough, but when I saw it, the first thing I thought was the only word that stuck out was felony, and to have those charges laid, there has to be something to it. And I mean, until I hear all charges are dropped, and hopefully for the kids' sake, that's what happens, and it happens before the draft, because that's a whole different type of question when you're sitting there and wondering if this is something that's going to affect his ability to travel and play the sport for a living. It's a massive thing when you're picking that low.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, it's 100%.
It's the border. That's the only thing I thought it was because if you get a felony, you can't travel.
And that's all that really matters. So if the guys, I know everybody wants to put the spin on how he just went up in the draft rankings, then good for you. That's not the reality of what's going on.
And a terrible thing. Like, I can't imagine being 18 and being charged with a felony and going through all that. Like, I have no idea what's happening. It's an ugly situation.
You talk to the kids again about the majority. I hate to say it, the majority of these stupid decisions usually involve around getting, behind a wheel or something like that, and driving and something silly at this stage. And I think there's so much education out there on making those one bad decisions, and that's why until we find out exactly what led to the incident, it's not really, other than the fact that it matters because it's a felony. Until it's dropped, it's going to matter.
Finally, my last question for you is, I started the show with it, and I want to get you to nail it down. Are you selling or are you holding pat at the trade deadline if you're Steve Staios? And I'm going to add a caveat because I forgot. They don't have their first round pick. Do you think they try at all to secure or acquire? Would you be trying to get a first round pick somehow with whatever assets you might be able to move?
How many games? If I'm them, how many they play before the deadline, Wally? They got 4. Yeah, I'm taking it right to the nuts. Unless if they come out 0-3 or something like that, I'm probably seeing if I can get a first for Giroux. And you never know because he's that good, and that's exactly what anybody, Senators included, would want. Somebody with that to prove in a playoff series. But I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm holding. If I'm within 5, I'm holding, and I'm just hoping that The one thing I love too is because sometimes teams wonder if you've kind of lost your coach, and that is clearly not the case. When Greener lit them up the other night in a positive way, it used to be you never got to see those things. I mean, I had Daryl Sutter on the other day, and I still think you'd like to see somehow the dressing room is still a bit of a sanctuary, but it seems every time a coach opens his mouth, we all get to watch it on YouTube. But that was a great speech. That was a great speech, and the team clearly responded. And I felt I could just see the body language as the horn went. Tkachuk was on his knees in the slot, and he knew there was a missing point there somewhere for them. I mean, I know they switched to Olympic mode now, but I think that if you're going to take anything away, the Carolina Hurricanes are kind of consistently been the cock of the walk in the East, and they didn't take any backward steps. They should have won that game. So that probably feeds to me going into the break too, that I'm going to stick with this group as long as we're within a reasonable distance.
I will quickly make a plug for your show because I watched the Daryl Sutter interview. And so if you didn't see it, it is the most stereotypical Daryl Sutter interview. He's in a tractor on his farm doing this interview.
His cell phone on the front of his tractor. We're looking straight up his nostrils, and he's great. He's typical Daryl. I love him. Like, I mean, so many people. Like, I mean, anybody that's worked with him, and I mean, there's guys that are still terrified. And but I mean, when you get to meet the man away from it, and him with Chris and stuff, and Wanda, he's such a special dude. And I mean, obviously he's got this thing now. It's like his son when he always calls me champ and stuff like that. But he was awesome. It's great too when you ask him a question he doesn't want to answer. He just answers. It's just like a press conference. He just answers the question he wants.
Yes. Yes. I was fortunate to be at the
outdoor game. It's a great story because before I go the outdoor game, right? So we were all talking about the outdoor game, and we said, would you? I thought we'd get I said, Maddie, you ask it because I know he's going to tell me he's just going to jump off the tractor and want to. Would you dress like Cooper dressed for an outdoor game? And he just he kind of looked off in the field and just said, I didn't see what Cooper was dressed like, whatever. And then we told him, and he went, "Oh yeah, that's hilarious." And then he changed this because he hated the microphones in the dressing room, Daryl. So and everybody was terrified anytime you sign a contract, right? So anytime there was something controversial, they'd send me down, who at that time didn't really have it was like, go down and tell Daryl that he's got to do this. Yeah, go down and tell Daryl that and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go down. But the microphone for the game, so Daryl had, and it's not, Jonathan Quick tells it way better, but bottom line, by the end of it, they have all those in the dressing room coaches things. And Daryl had gone down and he had cut all the microphone cords, and the televisions were no longer available to film the team, right? So we were under contract to have the actual game itself. The coach had to be mic'd up, and that wasn't going to happen. So we had to pull our trainer in, Dana Bryson, and we basically, it was like a James Bond movie. We had to mic him up like a hidden microphone, and then have him we had to stalk Daryl on the bench so we could get some quotes for to be contract eligible. So you watch the game, and our trainer, nobody goes near Daryl on the bench, and our trainer's kind of shimmying next to him, and Daryl's looking at him like, "What the? Get that!" And he was wired up.
So good.
We could get a comment.
Why is Dana standing so close to me all the time?
And all he was trying to do was get a word in with Daryl. It wasn't an expletive about how we were playing. Wow.
Last thing, I was lucky. I was at the press conference in LA Cup final where someone goes, "What would you be doing if you weren't coaching or whatever?" He goes, "I'd be shoveling shit in the barn or whatever." Yeah. I've always remembered he gave great press conferences.
How do you like John Gibson? He's the best goaltender in the history of the world.
I remember that.
Oh my God.
All right, Foots, I appreciate
Thanks,
your time.
guys. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Mike.
Thanks,
Remember, be good. Be good. I want to find out what you guys get.
Yeah. What are we getting?
I listen.
Oh, God.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right, we got to get some work done. Graham, can you do Shoeless Joe's for me, please?
Yes, sir. Shoeless Joe's, daily deals you do not want to miss. Burgers, wings, cold beer, great prices. No fluff, just big flavor. 5 nights a week. This week at Shoeless. Thursday nights, you got half price wine, $10 flatbreads. Perfect for date night or for catching up. Caesar Sunday. Shake up your Sunday with a $6 Caesar so you can enjoy that Super Bowl. Game day bud deal. If a Canadian team's on the screen, $9 buds all game long. Mondays are fish and chips. You got Wings Tuesday, Big Birder, Energy Wednesdays. Shoeless Joe's, where daily deals meet big flavor and good times on repeat in Canville and Orleans.
Yorkie, we're moving you later in the show.
Okay.
Also by Levelware. But if you haven't checked out, I've looked at this new lineup they have of Levelware apparel with Hurley, and it's this great vibe of beachwear. It's actually pretty cool. I just take a look at levelwear.com. You'll see the Fairwaves collection. It's beachy. It's pretty cool for golf. So I will that's my plug for that. It's actually pretty cool. And of course, our show proudly presented to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary. Bet365. Download the app, get on the game, use code NATION. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. All right, final game before the break, gentlemen, is the Philadelphia Flyers are tonight's opponent. Brady Tkachuk scored his first NHL point in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So I took him to score a goal tonight, have 3 shots on goal, and a Senators victory for my parlay. I think he's got to score. He wants to go out.
We kind of need him to score if we're going to get that 31 goal bet, right?
Yes, I'm kind of like that's basically I'm double dipping here. I'm trying to get him to 31 goals. Yeah,
I like it.
What's he at right now? What's Brady got right now? 18. Yeah, he's not getting 31. I don't think we're getting that.
No, Yorkie.
Stop with your negativity. It's a big game tonight. And by the way, Ottawa has dominated the Flyers. They've won 4 straight games against them. They're 8-1-1 in the last 10. They're 5-1 in the last 6 visits to Philly. I believe the Flyers are a bit of a mess at the moment. Even Danny Briere, he came out and had a Steve Staios moment where he was trying to put out the fire around Mitchkov or whatever his name is, and Rick Tocchet. That's an interesting.
What a weird scenario, eh? It's like, and then some of the reporters are, it's like body shaming, like he's not in shape, he needs to lose weight, and you're like, what is going on in Philadelphia?
Yeah. I heard the same thing. I heard he showed up not in shape. Like that's kind of been out there for a while with Mitchkov. But who was doing the body? Who was doing the body shape?
Well, apparently Rick Tocchet said something to the effect, and that's what started this fire. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know the exact quote.
Yeah,
but it's just.
But it was a Kevin Kerr's article in The Athletic where it's actually talking about his body percentage of body fat, and the quote's not attributed to anyone. It's like this is what it is. It's like, well, where'd you get the number? Like he doesn't source it or anything. So it's like, okay, someone from within the organization's feeding that information, obviously.
You're actually in your contract. There's a clause in there that says you have to be, I forget the exact wording, in shape to play professional hockey. So like, it'd be interesting if one day a team's like, yeah, we're not going to pay you because you are not even close to the shape you're supposed to be in to play. And I have no idea with Mitchkov, but that's in your contract. I remember looking at mine. But,
I believe, and I feel like somebody has come to camp and been suspended for not being in shape, but I believe it's been years.
Oh yeah,
but I think it's happened. Yeah.
Do you know who came to camp a long time ago? I think it was during a lockout. Big Walt. Keith Tkachuk came to camp. Remember the one year he came real heavy and he just got on the bike for the word around the league, because you all hear everybody around the league has friends on different teams. But also too, I remember when I was in Detroit back in the early days, Marty Lapointe came and he came in a little big, so they didn't even let him on the ice. So it's like, get on the bike, and you'd start practice, you'd be on the bike, you'd come out after practice, you'd still be on the bike. That's but yeah. So Mitchkov and Tocchet, they've been going at it, eh?
Apparently
all year.
Yeah.
And then Briere just said he's not going anywhere. Blah blah.
He's a good player. So I know the answer to this, but I'm just going to throw it out anyhow. You can leave. They never put a rule in the NHL where, let's just say, for example, Claude Giroux. You can get traded and come back and re-sign in the summer, correct?
Yeah, but you can't have a handshake deal. You can't have a handshake deal. It's like, I will sign. You can trade me now. I'll re-sign with you guys in the summertime. You can't have that agreement. You could probably be like, wink, wink, wink. You know,
nobody knows. Like that's obviously, but obviously behind closed doors, teams make wink, wink handshake deals. It's just common sense. But it's going to get. I agree.
It's like July 1st, right, Yorkie? It's like, well, how did this guy sign a massive multi-million-dollar deal long term and minutes after the opening of unrestricted free agency? How did that happen so quickly?
This is where I'm at. I agree with Futs on this one. I want to give this group the leeway because they've played so well, and the points just haven't shown up for them. Case in point, last game against Carolina. I'm taking it right up to the deadline, and I'm going to see where they're at. And if they get to the deadline and they're still, I don't know, 8 points out, I'm selling. You have to. You have to.
It would be negligent to leave your team and not try to address the future.
No, especially with, if you look in Belleville, there's with the mess that the previous regime left them with no draft pick for this year in the first round. And the problem is, if you want to add and you're Ottawa, who are you giving up to add? Like, you don't. I really don't want to subtract from this team, like any of my young core, like the Ridley Greigs, the Pintos, and any of my young core. Like I like how this team is made up right now. If so, that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting till the deadline and
4 games.
Yeah, and then
I guess it depends, Yorkie. Like, what are you getting back? Like, that's a question, right? Like, it's easy to say, well, I don't know what I would give up, but you have no idea what would be coming back. So it's hard to say what you'd be willing to do. But I think you're right, though. I think, like, the problem for Ottawa is, like, aside from Carter Yakimchuk, Stephen Halliday has been a really nice developmental story for the organization. But, like, aside from Yakimchuk, you don't necessarily have that other, like, guaranteed blue chip guy. I think Logan Hensler could be a decent right defenseman for the team. Maybe, but
it's just like, there have been since the Tim Stützle draft, which was full of players who are now playing for Ottawa. There have been 2 players drafted by Ottawa that have played in the National Hockey League for Ottawa. 2 in 5 drafts.
Yep. Well, and I've written about that extensively before in the past. Like, I had that article up on my blog. Like, you know, like, outside of your first 3 picks in the 2020 draft, like, you had, you know, Sandy, Timmy, and Ridley Gregg. Brady was another top 5 pick who panned out. Like, they hit home runs with their top 5 picks. Yeah. But if you go outside that top 5, there's a lot of variance in terms of the quality of players that they're getting. I think, like, the exceptions are obviously Ridley Gregg late first round, Shane Pinto in the second round, Drake Batherson in the fourth. But, like, Drake Batherson, you're going back a long time. And with Shane Pinto, that was the story, right? It's like Trent Mann's banging the table saying, I'm going to resign if you do not draft this player. Well, guess what? Trent Mann's no longer with the organization. The guy who's responsible for drafting him is no longer here.
So if you're Dorian said is a better guy at drafting players than I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure that opinion changed after he fired him. But
I'm assuming before he fired him.
Yeah. But like, a lot, like, even Batherson, like, the scout who's responsible for getting Drake Batherson back today is probably no longer with the organization now. Right. I'd have to go back and look. I'd have to go back and look at what the staff was then and to what it is now. But, like, Ottawa has whiffed on a number of picks, and the thing that's killed them in the past 5, 6, 7 years during this rebuild is, like, they've given away so many top 10 picks. And if you even want to go back further, like, Logan Brown is the 11th overall selection, and then you trade the 4th overall pick, winds up being the 4th overall pick in the short-sighted Matt Duchene trade. You look at the DeBrincat trade, you're giving away the 7th overall pick to Chicago, and, you know, you draft, there's still time for him to pan out, but, like, Tyler Boucher, 10th overall, was a reach. COVID year, so it's a bit of a weird draft anyways, but, like, they had several top 10 assets that haven't turned into anything of consequence. And I think they don't have the pick this year, and there's just so many whiffs with valuable assets, and they just didn't get controllable term back. They got good players, like DeBrincat's a good player, but he wasn't here for long. Same with Chychrun. Like, Chychrun was another top 15 pick. And it's just, when you waste very valuable assets and you don't get commitments, long-term commitments back, and good players coming back for a long period of time, it's hard. It's hard to gain ground in, and I think that's what we're seeing with the team right now.
Yeah, the one thing too, if you look at one of the reason a lot of players haven't been able to crack the Ottawa Senators, it's like there's no room at center. So if you're a center that's been drafted by the Ottawa Senators, you're not playing for this team anytime soon. Like, you've got one of the youngest center ice cores in the league. You got Cousins, you got Pinto, you got Stützle. You can count Ridley Gregg as a center as well if you want, but it's a lot of their young guys. A lot of their young guys hit like when they came in, like, and then this is just a team that's, you go back to when Brady came in and then Stützle, like, a lot of guys came in and played young right away and have become really good players. And then they added some pieces, like you bring in a Amadio, you make the trade for Zetterlund, but I do agree on Holiday. I think Holiday is going to be a real nice player. Like, needs to get his foot speed up a little bit, but his brain, his passing ability, big body, seems to be kind of clutch too, when you watch him. Like, he makes clutch little plays around the net. But yeah, like I said earlier, if this team is in a similar situation to where they are right now, 4 games from now, I think you got to sell. Like, you've got to find a way to get some draft pick, get some prospects or picks.
But I think that's the thing too, though, Yorkie, is like, with the exception of Giroux, I don't know. I don't think he's worth a first round pick. I don't think any team's trading a first round pick, but there's so few sellers. Maybe you'll find a team that's desperate, right? Maybe a team that's at the top of the standings with a late first round pick. They'll be like, you know what? We're all in. He can win faceoffs. He's still productive, good defensively. Right? Like, there's a ton of value there in that.
Ahead of last year's scoring pace.
Well, the thing with everybody looks at Panarin and they're like, well, he didn't get. Well, he's making $11 million. Like, it's
and
hard.
He only wanted to go to LA, right? So they control.
It's really hard to trade a guy that you're going to fit into your team that's making $11 million. So you're going to get more if the Sens do decide to move on from Claude for this year and bring back some assets. You're going to get a lot more.
Yeah,
number one, he's a centerman. Number 2, he kills penalties. He's a right shot centerman. He's defensive and offense. I think he's more valuable than Panarin, to tell you the truth. Like, for what he brings to the table. Like, is a guy that's fiery in the playoffs. Like, I don't know.
Great supporting cast player right now in his career.
I would want Claude Giroux on my team more than Panarin if I was a player.
But the rest of those guys on the list that you guys set up, you're lucky to return probably 3rd, 4th round picks for most of these guys. Like, it's like, it's great to get those assets back, but I mean, like, those 3rd and 4th round picks, they're very far away from contributing anything to this organization. So it's like
100%, but maybe you can package them. Maybe you find a way to, right? You trade a pencil for a paperclip and suddenly you end up with a house.
It's just more lottery picks, right? Like, that's all it is. More lottery tickets, I should say, not picks. More lottery tickets. But
they got the work cut out.
No, but I think it's like good. Like, if you move David Perron, then that creates the spot that Stephen Halliday needed to be a full-time regular with his team, right? Like, there is some benefits of that. But like Elliotte Friedman's comments, I thought, like, I know, like, I texted Wally right away when I heard Elliotte Friedman's comments on the 32 Thoughts podcast earlier this week, where he's talking about the David Price situation in Toronto, where it's like the Toronto Blue Jays had great underlying numbers. The results weren't meeting those expectations. Like, they're still finding a way to still lose games. And he was drawing a parallel to the Senators, where Steve Staios looks at Ottawa's numbers and he says, this is a really good team. I should be looking to add and afford them the opportunity to go on a run. But I saw it as like, I saw his Friedman's comments, because he said he phrased it as a theory of what Ottawa's trying to do. And it sounds to me, that makes it sound like he thinks they're trying to do something big, like take a swing on something. What that means, though, I don't know. What did you think of his comments there, Wally?
To be honest, I thought it was a lot of nothing. There's a lot of word salad to me. Is that, okay, yeah, there's a theory they want to move. Sure. But I think it's too little too late at this point. And now if you're trying to make that move, it's for next season. So, but I think it's my favorite statement is, well, the Sens were in on this guy. The Sens were in on calling and asking, hey, I heard you're looking to move Artemi Panarin, doesn't mean they're in on the trade. And I hear that, like, well, they should get Jesper Wallstedt. Well, sure, for now he's $2 million, but what about when his contract comes up? Are you going to be able to afford $4-5 million for him and Linus Ullmark?
Well, I think the Linus Ullmark issue. I shouldn't say issue, but like the Linus Ullmark quandary. Like, what do you do with him after this season? Like, I think that's the big question mark over this offseason, because he's a goaltender who hasn't played 50 games in a regular season. He took a leave of absence this year for mental health. Obviously, it's a super sensitive subject, right? But I think like you have to have a conversation about reliability and whether you can count on this guy to be your number one goalie over the next several years, because even when he was healthy, he wasn't performing at a high level. So how do you get Linus Ullmark to play at a number one level for an extended period of time and be able to rely on him comfortably? Yeah. And I think that's a hard question. I think that's a really difficult conversation to have. But they have to figure out their goaltending position, because they can't afford to have a situation like this. And I think that's why Elliotte Friedman's comments were interesting to me, Wally, because it's like they understand what their weaknesses are on this team. Like we've talked about it several times on the show. It's like it's right defense, and you need average goaltending. And
there's only one way to fix goaltending. You've got to move Linus Ullmark. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that is. Is that you're going to have to, if it's the case, I know everybody's going to get excited here, but you have to give a high draft pick and eat salary in order for someone to take him because of the contract. I don't know. I don't know that they can make that move anytime soon. Maybe they're not even looking to.
Maybe it's a buyout. Like that's the other thing. Like a buyout.
I can't imagine you're buying
a buyout would cost them close to $3 million a year for the next 6 years. Like
they're already paying for Colin White and Jonas Corposalo for the next 3 seasons.
Is Colin White still on the books?
$875 for 3. He's the Barry Bonds of the Ottawa Senators.
He just keeps making money.
$875, 3 more years.
Wonder when that check comes in. What day of the year that comes
July
in?
1st. I believe it is. Yeah.
I always love that contract. It's like, it's like my favorite comment from Dorian when he signed that is like, look, this is when they're purging the roster of all these guys who want to leave. And it's like, look, Colin White wants to stay. He's like, he's a restricted free agent. Where's he going to go? There is no alternative. Just sign it. You just signed a massive ticket. He just played a season with Brady Tkachuk and Mark Stone. You got the Mark Stone bump.
You've got me curious now. Where is Colin White? Where is he these days?
I think he's in the AHL.
He was with the Barracudas, if I'm not San Jose Barracuda. Is that right?
Yeah, I know he was in camp with somebody on a PTO. Maybe it was San Jose.
Colin White is playing for he's having a great year for the San Jose Barracuda. He's got 28 games. He's got 11 goals, 26 points. He's having himself a time in San Jose, getting that checks coming in July 1st.
Right. Did they win it last year? Was that Bakersfield Condor, AHL champions?
Oh yeah,
wherever Max Lajoie is. I think Max Lajoie won last year. Anyway.
Max Lajoie,
yeah,
that's an old Boucher favorite, isn't it? An old Guy Boucher pet.
Max scored in this, I believe, the first period of his first NHL game, had 2 points, and
it's crazy how. I always say this in the NHL, you just need one person to like you. If that person keeps getting a job, you are percentage-wise probably going to land where this guy is, and that was Max Lajoie with Boucher. He looked like he was going to be a good player too. Remember, he was getting, like you said, he's getting points, he's playing. Same
with Willanen.
I actually think, didn't Boucher actually get him to Toronto too? I think he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's how it works.
It's like Tom Pyatt. Tom Pyatt was another one.
Yeah,
Chris DiDomenico.
Gabriel Dumont.
Yeah, my huckleberry was Pierre Gauthier. I followed Pierre Gauthier to 3 destinations. He was the assistant general manager in Anaheim, and the guy that wanted me from Detroit to Anaheim. Then he got the job in Ottawa. Then he brought me to Ottawa. Then he went back to Ottawa, and guess what? He brought me back to Anaheim. That's how it works, Wally. If you're an average player, just get somebody to like you.
Fair enough. We keep bringing you back.
Well, this better be a good surprise at the end of the show here.
Okay, wait. So you two do your take care of our final ad reads, and then you've been good. So I'll let you see what's going on.
I'm sick too. I'm sick. I deserve.
Yes. Yorkie's day to day with the norovirus or Ebola or whatever.
The Finnish norovirus, the worst. The worst kind. This show is proudly presented by Beyond the Pale Brewing Company, locally owned and one of Canada's go-to craft breweries. Beyond the Pale is serving up some of the city's favorite beers with new seasonal releases on tap. They've got 2 great locations to check out: the City Center Brewery and Tap Room at 250 City Center, with great food and open view to the brew house and a fantastic atmosphere, and their new Byward Market location with taps at the historic 21 George Street, where history, community, and craft beer all come together. 2 great spots to grab a pint or to catch the next big Senators game. Find them online at Beyond the Pale or btpshop.ca.
I was there yesterday with our good friend Cody, the co-host of the late show.
Man, I never get invited to anything. What is happening here?
How are the
I was
vibes
on,
together?
I was on shift, but
How are the vibes with Cody? Cody likes the good vibes. Are they good?
We enjoyed a good poutine and some beers.
Did you buy
What'd you
one?
have? What was
I
your
did
go-to?
I tried 3. Yummy, the Pilsner, and something else.
The darkness. The darkness that's pretty good too.
Right around the same area.
Oh, well,
I can't remember.
Speaking of good vibes, BI has some great vibes. So if you're a homeowner thinking about a new driveway, fresh gravel, or getting your property ready for a spring project, BEI can help. They supply quality aggregate and landscape materials at competitive prices, and they've got the equipment and experience to handle everything from small residential jobs to full driveway work. To get a quote or learn more, visit BonnecherExcavating.com or call 613-432-1120. BEI, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. And please remember to slow down in construction zones.
I may not be in the good guy club,
Holy crap! Look at the shirt.
but I made it to the Stittsville Swinger Club.
That is unbelievable.
boy.
Look at that.
The shirts are in.
I've never seen
Look
that.
at that.
I've never met a full real life swinger. This is the first real life swinger I've met, actually.
So
Look at
the shirts shirt came in yesterday. I put it on and said, "Hey, Lisa, am I allowed to wear this out in public with you?" And she's like, no, as a matter of fact.
I love the fact we went with because we had 3 models. This is the best with the garage door half open.
At least there's not like a pair of eyes in the back of the garage there that you can see come out.
Just a pair of legs walking in. Listen, people, I'm wearing this out.
Yeah,
100%.
Of course you are. Where to the next Sens skate in the morning?
I don't know. I don't wear t-shirts to the rink, but
get in there with a scrum with the coming in hot mic and position yourself so the cameras can pick up the Stittsville Swingers Club.
You know what I like about this shirt? It's like it's the font of Stittsville is almost like the old Cheers font, so it's like where everybody knows your name.
It's got a 70s vibe to it. This t-shirt. Yeah. It's got a 70s vibe. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
Well, that's good because I've ordered you both.
Is that going to be available in the merch shop?
I don't know if people will buy it.
I think they will.
I don't know. So I could put it there, but I don't.
There you go. Put a poll up in the chat. There you go, Jake.
Jake, we need a poll.
Will the Stittsville Swingers Club? Will people buy it? Will you buy it? Oh, by the way, you were doing your read for Levelwear earlier, Wally. We got to get some coming in hot Levelwear shirts with get some nice ones with a very discreet coming in hot logo, like a black on black. That'd be nice.
Are you going to pay for your shirt?
Well, no, it comes out of the it's a write-off, Wally. It's a write-off.
It just comes out of my pocket is what you were trying to get at.
You write it off. It's a business expense.
Listen,
they got some nice shirts though. Looking at it,
yeah, I like this one though. This one's a keeper.
Okay, quickly go to the poll. The poll is up. Would you buy a Stittsville Swingers t-shirt? Ooh, starting out is it? Oh, it's 50-50 right now. I'm worried. Yeah, because I didn't get into the good guy club for another year apparently because it's February 5th and there hasn't been a notice.
Well, it's just backlog. There's a lot of applicants, Wally. We're going through the files. You were supposed you should have come that night. I invited Wally to the cat the other night, Graham, but he had
you
stuff
do
going
it
on.
like, hey, it's 6:00. Can you, we're going to meet at 8. You guys already knew in the afternoon you were going to meet. You could have told me then, but somebody clearly canceled. And you're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just ask Wally.
I would have dropped everything I was doing.
Oh, please stop it.
Well, I don't get invited out very often. So if it happens, I have to go.
Okay. Just so we're clear.
I'm just joking.
Every day at practice.
Facetious. I'm being facetious. It's all good.
Graham and Alex Adams like, oh, where do you want to go for lunch today? Where are you going to? Hey, see you, Wally. Never once have you guys ever said, hey, Wally, want to come
sitting
to
on your computer cutting videos because you're doing your work.
You got a lunch club? You got a lunch club, you and Alex? Where do you guys go?
Yeah.
Julian sometimes. Others, yeah. I don't know. Usually it's like we go to the Cat, Moxie's, anywhere around the rink is fine. I don't discriminate, yeah.
You ever go anywhere? You ever go to Pesto's?
Pesto's, yeah. Pesto's is good. Great sandwiches.
Oh, great sandwich. Yeah. Good
sandwich.
sandwich.
Pickled eggplant. Yeah, we did that once.
I took you guys there.
That's angry Mike's there. Mike's extra angry because he's a Leafs fan who owns Pesto's.
See, Michael's all over. I got you, Graham. See? There you go. Oh, yeah, gold chain. That's what you're missing. You need the Kyle Turris chain. You need the Kyle Turris chain around your neck.
Yeah. If you're going to be a real swinger, Wall, you got to get the gold chain. You got to get the silver chest hair coming out. And you need like a 1970s kind of big collared shirt, maybe some wide leg cords, velvet shoes.
Oh, yeah. So
slick back the gray hair a little bit.
This is why it's probably not going to end up in the CIH Sens shop. It is 52% no.
But that's because people probably don't live in Stittsville.
You can still.
That's what
wear
I'm saying. I'm thinking everyone from Stittsville would wear that 100%.
Do you think that everybody that goes to Boston Pizza is from Boston?
I don't see anyone wearing Boston Pizza shirts in public.
Oh, people wear BP stuff everywhere.
What?
Listen, New York fries. Do you got to be from New York to go get the New York fries? You can wear it. No one knows where. If you're on the road, no one knows where Stittsville is.
Would you wear that on the road?
Oh, I'm wearing this everywhere.
Nice. I got to hold you to that. You got to wear it somewhere.
I want to see reaction. Yeah. And I did order one for Yorkie.
Thank you.
Because I want us to go out together wearing it.
All right, folks. I got to go take my cough medicine. Are we done here?
See, this is why I don't do that. You're just cranky now. Just cranky. Graham and I are back tomorrow morning as the Sens finish out the heading to the Olympic break. So we will get you caught up tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. See everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.